So once again, welcome to my second live stream today. It's Wednesday, July 26th, 11:04 a.m., and this is English Q&A session with Teacher Mark, and that's me. I'm Teacher Mark. Turn your phone, turn your phone, turn your phone. Don't watch me like this. Turn your phone. Flavia, 2 hours? Probably an hour and a half at least. Okay, Flavia, when I do my live streams, I book them online for 1 hour. Okay, so all of my live streams say that they're 60 minutes, or most of them, but usually I do about an hour and a half or more. Okay? I try not to do 2 hours because that's too much and I get tired. But I try to do an hour and a half. Okay, an hour and a half for each live stream. 2 hours is also much longer to edit when I'm trying to edit my videos after I record them. Hello, Sergio. Hello, English teacher and Flavia. Hello, Zendon and Hero. What is the difference between a coach and a teacher? Good question. So, Ferez, I am a teacher, but I am a coach. Okay? A teacher is someone that you will study with for a long time. Okay? But a coach might just be someone that you work with for a very short time. Okay? A coach is kind of more like a consultant. All right? So, what do? I am an English coach. So what does that mean? If you buy a lesson from me, you only need one. You only need one lesson from me. Because in one lesson, I will listen to your English. I will ask you some questions about how you learn English. And then I will tell you how to improve and what you can do better. All right? In 1 hour, I can do that. And I promise I will give you some new tips you haven't heard before, and I will help you to feel like you are getting closer to your goals. Okay? So, a coach is just someone you need to tell you, come on, you can do it, and tell you how to do it better. Right? The coach has better ideas of how you can do it. All right? Tricks and tips and things like that. And the coach is a good motivator. The coach tells you to stop being lazy. Okay? So that's what I am. I am an English coach. You said that migrate is for animals, so if someone used that, is it wrong? Let me think about that for just a minute. Okay, so migration can be used for people or for animals, okay? But migration is just the act of moving, okay? So to migrate just means from moving from one place to another place, okay? But that might not be between countries. That could just be from north to south. That's migration, right? So if you migrate from the north part of your country to the south part of your country, that's migration. You moved. Any movement is migration. Okay? But, so immigration usually is more about talking about one person or a family who is moving to a new country from a different country. Right? So, migration is just moving from one place to another. Okay? So if I say, I want you to migrate over to that desk, that just means I want you to move over to that desk. Okay? But immigrate means to move from one country to another country. Okay? Buenos dias, Magali. Hello. Hello, Ashley. Hello, Mabroka. Hello, Kalsam, Encheno, and Preeti. What is the difference between coach and couch in pronunciation? Couch. Couch is more like the word cow plus ch. Couch. Okay? Go sit on the couch. My coach is sitting on the couch. Hello, Daikicho. Hello, Jendi. Hello, Sandro. Greetings from Costa Rica, Rebecca. My friend, a good friend of mine, just had a vacation in Costa Rica. You are welcome, Nada. Okay, I would like to talk to some people today, too, so if you want to raise your hand and come talk to me, you can. Okay, if you have questions and you would like to come on the stage and talk to me, then you can raise your hand. Okay? I would prefer to talk to people who have questions about learning English. If you just want to practice your English, this is not the time. It's not the place. I'm here to teach a class, so if you have questions, then I can help you. But if you just want to practice your English, no, I'm not here for that. Okay? What's the difference between advice with an S and advice with a C? Nothing, Rebecca. Advice with an S, that's the way the British spell it. Okay? The British English spells it as an S, and American English spells it with a C. They're identical, though. Okay? What is the difference between if I were to do something, I'd do blah, 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 versus if I did something, I'd do? Well, Daikicho, if you say if I were to do something, that's talking about the possibility that you would do something. But the second one says if I did something. That's not talking about the possibility that you would do something. That's saying that you already did it. You already did something. If I did something... So the second one is actually incorrect. If you're trying to tell people what you would like to do, then you should say, if I could do something, I'd do this. Okay? You could also say, if I were to do something, I'd do this. Okay? But if I did something, technically that's not correct because you're already saying I did it. Okay? But if you say, if I could do something, that's different. That's talking about possibility and potential. Right? What is the difference between specially and especially? Okay, Rebecca. Especially means even more or more, let me think of a good way to word it. If I say, I like music, especially rock music, that means that rock music is the one I like more. So when you're trying to express what you like more, you can use the word especially, because it's telling people that you think this thing is special. You think this thing is special, so you like it especially. Okay? So, if I say, it has anything to do with more, right? So if I say, studying is important, especially if you want a good job. So I said studying is important. And then I said especially, which means if you think this is special, then it's very true. Okay? Do you understand, Daikito? Okay, and then when I say specially, let me show you something. So, if I say, I have created something specially for this purpose, specially for, in this case, means created for that purpose, specifically for that purpose. Okay? So, to do something specially means for a special purpose. Okay? So if you say, these have been specially created for this. These have been specially produced for your company. These have been specially fabricated for your car. Okay? But especially is when you're talking about trying to explain how this is more, something more. Okay? So, I like ice cream, especially chocolate ice cream. That means I like ice cream, all ice cream, but chocolate is one of my favorites. Okay? Hello, Sarah. I am fine. How are you? Hello, Kay from the Philippines. Oh, that was Rebecca's question, not Daikicho's question. Sorry about that. How to use have had. Let me give you a good page for that. Okay, this is a good page that explains it, I think. Let me see, is this too long? It is, of course. Why do they make websites so long? Let's try another one. British Council's usually pretty good. So this is, when you're talking about have had is present perfect tense. So you need to learn about present perfect tense. Okay, so here is a good page for that. I think you can get to this one. Yes. Go to that page and you can learn about have had and present perfect tense. Okay? What is the difference between do and make? You want to know the secret. Faraz, there is no secret. There are many ways to use the words do and the words make. So there is no secret. I'm sorry. Okay? There are some things that you can learn, though. Okay? So, do and make are, we use them with noun phrases, right? And so when we're talking about the process of doing something, we use do or make, right? So make is talking about the product or an outcome of something. But do is talking about the process or action of something, okay? So if you say, I was doing math, okay? I made 2 mistakes. So do is something, it's an action that I'm doing. I made 2 mistakes. That's talking about the outcome, right? Okay, so there's a good page here that can explain to you how to use do and how to use make. But it's not really a secret. There's no secret. There are no tricks. Okay? There's just understanding. How can you improve your English listening? Bella, 1, listen more. 2, listen to people who speak well. This is a big, big thing. Guess what, everyone? Everyone speaks language. But does that mean everyone speaks well? No! So, you need to listen to people who speak well. You need to listen to people who speak well. That's what you need to do. I'm a musician. I play the drums. I don't listen to everybody who plays the drums. I listen to the professionals. I listen to the ones who are the best. Do that. Okay? You would like to speak English nice? What do I have to do? Mohammed, go to my YouTube page and watch my videos, and then you'll know what you need to do. But, Mohammed, there are probably about 40 videos there now. Start watching. Which book do I use to teach you? Benham, I use a lot of books. There are about 20 books over there behind me here. I have many books that I use for teaching. You want to share my live? Please do. Thank you, Dodo. How do I motivate students who are struggling with their English? Kay, that's a good question. Thank you for asking that. 1, you need to try to find out if your students know why they are learning English. Kay, it's crazy, but most students who are learning English don't really know why. And no one has tried to explain to them how English could be good for their life. So everybody is just forced to learn English, but nobody asks you why, or nobody tells you, hey, you like to play video games. Most of those video games are in English. It will be better if you learn English when you play video games. Right? Or maybe you want to study. Maybe you want to study. I don't know, biology, and the person that you want to study biology with is in America. Well, then maybe you need English, right? Maybe whatever. The point is, Kay. The first way to motivate your students is to make them understand the value of what they're learning. But nobody does that. Nobody really does that. They don't. They just force students to learn instead of trying to explain to them why it could be good for them, which is its own motivation. Okay, so it's hard to be a teacher if your students don't want to learn, but it's actually pretty easy to be a teacher when your students want to learn. So give them a reason to want to learn English. Ask them about their lives and try to be creative and think of how you can tell them, well, you like this, so English will be better for you because of this. You like this, so English is good for you. You like this, so English is good for you. You like this, so English is good for you. That's what you should do, okay? Hello, Isaac. Hello, Muhammad. What is the name of my YouTube channel? The name of my YouTube channel is long. Don't worry about that. Just go here. This is my Hello Talk page. It has all of my links. You can find my YouTube and my everything there. Go to that Hello Talk page, okay? Is excite, to excite used? Yes, that word is used pretty commonly. I try to excite my students with learning. Noah says, I can understand most conversation, but I feel my brain is empty when I want to say something in English. Noah, 这是因为现在如果你说英文，你想中文。不行，不行。如果你要说英文，你需要想英文。可以吗？ What's the best book for learning English grammar? I use two, Ferez. I use English grammar in use. And I use Basic English Grammar by Saddleback Publishing. Those are the two books that I use. Why do I use two books? Well, the first book, English Grammar in Use, that's the #1 book in the world for learning English grammar. But I hate that book because it's not written well. It's written for native speakers, so it's a difficult book to understand, and it's really boring and dry. So it's comprehensive. Comprehensive means it has all of the answers. It has all of the answers, but it's just a terribly written book. It's not easy. It's difficult. Okay? But the other book that I use, Basic English Grammar by Saddleback Publishing, easy. Simple. They explain everything very easily. They use cartoons and pictures and they draw things and try to explain it better. Okay? So, those are the two books I use. If I had more money, I'd buy a new car. No. That money, that one is okay. If I had more money, I'd buy a new car. Both of those are talking about a possibility in the future. So that's okay. That's correct. Yeah, okay, so if you want to know what the real definition of fluent is, the real definition of fluent is the language of your mind and your ability to use it. So, if you don't have good English in your mind, you're not going to have good English when you write, speak, read, or listen. So fluency is the connection between the language of your mind and your ability to use it. All right? Yes, I've been using HelloTalk for 10 years. Are there any differences? Yeah, it's very different than when it started. Yeah, when it started, it barely had any options. Now, actually, I feel like it has too many options. Now, HelloTalk is too much. I don't use half the stuff on here. I mean, I love this app. But now, it's like a good restaurant. Okay, in America, if you go to a restaurant, the first thing we do is we look at the menu to see how big it is. Because the general rule in America is, if your menu is too big, then you can't do anything well. You don't do anything well if your menu is too big. So I kind of feel like HelloTalk is reaching that point where the menu is too big, man. You offer too much, and now that means that not everything will be good. Yeah. So that's just my feeling. I love this app. I just wish they'd focus more. They're too unfocused. It's too many things. Rebecca says that's one of the reasons students don't want to study English. That's right. We need to make the process more engaging. That's exactly right. That's the secret to being a good teacher. Making your students understand the value of what they're learning. Okay? Being a teacher is easy when your students want to learn. Being a teacher is difficult when your students do not want to learn. You think some people use this as a dating site? Yeah, I know they do, and it's pathetic and sad. You know, like, I have met some nice girls here, you know, and I've made a lot of friends here. A lot. But, and I don't have a problem. I really don't have a problem. If you develop a friendship and you develop a relationship with someone on HelloTalk, that's fine. But it's really pathetic and sad when that's what you're trying to do, is you came to a language learning app to try to hit on girls. You're really sad. Everybody wants to hit on girls, or I should say, guys. We all want, you know, if we're a straight man, then yes, you want to talk to girls. But guess what, guys? There are good ways to do it and bad ways to do it. How to let children learn? Well, you don't really have to do much. Children are learning all the time. Even if you're not teaching them, they're learning. So am I going to blame the students and not the teachers? No, I'm not going to blame anyone. I'm not blaming anyone, passerby. I'm just telling you what the situation is. If a student does not understand the value of what they're learning, then they won't be motivated to learn it. There's no blame. That's just a fact. It's a fact of teaching. The first thing I do when I have a new class is I try to judge who wants to learn and who is just here because someone told them they had to be here. And then I try to fix that. Any of my students that don't seem to care, that's who I focus on. I try to get them to care, because if I can get the kid who doesn't care to care, then I don't have to worry about the kid who does care. He already cares. What is the meaning of blaming, Paolo? Blame. Blame in Italian, I think, is colpa. Yeah, right? Mea culpa? Yeah, culpa. Culpa is blame. Okay, Paolo? Rebecca, you want me to give you some examples of literature to recommend to expand vocabulary? Rebecca, read. The number one way to improve your vocabulary is to read. Just get some books and start reading. Whatever you enjoy reading, read in English. Okay? There are lots of vocabulary books you can get too. You know, if you want to actually get some vocabulary books, you can. Okay? Hello, Anastasia. How do you improve your English listening skills? Ahmed, you need to listen more. One thing that I think is a really great way to improve your listening is use audio books. Get an audio book and read it. You read and listen to the speaker. Listen to the narrator, the person whose recorded voice is there. And you read and listen to their voice, listen to their accent, listen to their phrasing, listen to their rhythm and their tone. Okay, Ahmed? Passerby says, yes, you're right, but sometimes there are teachers that make you hate the subject. Yeah, sure, there are lots of terrible teachers, Passerby. I know that. But there are also lots of terrible students, just to be clear. What is the best tip to speak more quickly and connect the mind with your words? Alejandra, don't ever worry about your speaking speed. No one cares how fast you speak. They only care if you speak well or speak clearly. That's all they care about. Stop. Language has no speed. Okay? Language has no speed. All speeds are good in language. Actually, I'll tell you this. The faster you speak, the less meaning your words have. The faster you speak, the less meaning your words have. Do you see how that works? The faster you speak, the less meaning your words have. Okay? And how can you connect your mind with your words, Alejandra? You need to think in English as much as you can all day. So, don't say buenos dias in your mind. Say good morning. Okay? Don't say mucho gusto in your mind. Say nice to meet you. Okay? Use English in your mind all day. Go into your settings in your brain and change the language. Go into the settings in your brain and change the language. Right now, you are using your native language all day in your mind. That has to change. You need to start using English in your mind more. If you can, use English in your mind all the time. That's the way you can improve much faster. Yes, no te estoy culpando. That's right. But if you work at schools, what should you do? You have to work hard and do the best to make the students learn. Yes, you do. And you have to try. And it's not easy. That's why being a teacher is not an easy job. It's not a job everyone should do. It's a job you should do if you think you can. Okay? So, Rada or whoever, if you're teaching, let me put it to you this way. I remember when I was a student, and if my teacher was boring, then I was bored. So don't be boring. Don't be boring. Have good energy. Use your passion, and passion is contagious. Passion is contagious. If you demonstrate your passion for learning and your passion for English, your students will see that and will want to do it too. Okay? How can you improve your English skills? You can go here. Go watch my YouTube video that has all my tips. Go watch my YouTube video. Language has no speed, that's right. Could I share something about the IELTS and the TOEIC? What are the exams like? They're really hard. Okay, I mean, I don't really know what to tell you. IELTS exams, the TOEIC exam, they're very comprehensive English exams. That's the point. They're supposed to find out what do you know and what don't you know. Right? So they're hard. You know, they're trying to, they want you to fail. That's the point. They want you to fail. It's hard. Because if you can pass that, then your English is good. Okay? Unless you want to be a rapper. Well, if you want to be a rapper, I'm sorry, I can't help you. You forget words when you're trying to describe something. Okay, that happens to me sometimes too, Anastasia. So use different words. Language is an art, and you must be creative and figure out how you can use the words you do know in different ways to describe things. Okay? It's actually not as hard as you think, but you have to just try. Okay? Is the book Spare by Prince Harry, is that a good book to study vocabulary? I have no idea. I don't know that book. If you keep listening to English for 10 hours every day for 3 months, what will happen? You will explode. Kelsey, I don't know. What will happen? Maybe nothing. It depends on how well you are listening. It depends on how well you are paying attention. Okay? Sumia says, but all movie actors speak fast. That's right, but movies are not designed for English learning. Movies are designed for entertainment. I know you want to understand people when they speak fast, but sometimes you can't. And sometimes you should just ask them to speak more slowly. Eventually, you will start to understand people who speak quicker. But you must start with people who speak well and people who speak a good speed. So let me say that again. I know you want to understand everyone, but You can't. So, don't try to understand everyone. Try to understand the people who speak well. Eventually, you will start to hear and understand more and more and more. Okay? Yes, fun, fair, and flexible. I agree with those things. Kiki says, tomorrow is Tesoa and Ashura. We fast in these days. Oh, I don't know about those things, Kiki, so I'll look up that later. And I'll learn about those holidays, because I don't know about them. Are there any tips for remembering the order of using adjectives? Tiny red ball. That's a good question. Rebecca, the truth is most Americans don't have any trick for that. We don't really. We just learn it through lots of practice and hearing it a lot, okay? But the good news is it doesn't really matter, okay? So if you say a red tiny ball, everyone's still going to understand you, right? Okay, so that's a grammar rule that matters when you're taking a test, but that's a grammar rule that does not matter in real life. Nobody really cares what order you put the words in. Okay? Native speakers, we do it. Sometimes we do it, right? We say them in the wrong order. When we're speaking, too quickly or we're not thinking clearly, we'll say, I had a red big car, Nobody really cares, okay? Most of the time we'll say a big red car, but yeah, sometimes you might hear somebody say the order incorrectly and no one cares, okay? But let me see. I think there is a website that has a pretty good order of adjectives, if I remember right. You just have to remember the rule, which is opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and purpose. So you could say OSASCOMP. So let's see. OSA. Stop acting so. Wait a minute. I'm coming up with something for you. Stop acting so crazy. I'm trying to come up with a rhyme for you. My suggestion would be for you to sit down and look at the list: opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and purpose. Then look at the letters OSASCOMP, and I want you to create a rhyme using words that begin with OSASCOMP to create an acronym that you can remember to help you remember the order. Okay? Do I know a good site for the IELTS? No, I don't know a good site for it, but I mean, there are many, okay? If you just look online, there are many, many sites to talk about, IELTS preparation. Do a search for IELTS preparation websites. There are lots of them, okay? I think it's more important to get an IELTS preparation book, okay? I recommend the company Barron's, Barron''S. Barron's. Get the Barron's IELTS book or the Barron's TOEIC book or whatever, okay? Or TOEFL book, sorry, TOEFL. Right. Anyway. Hello, Maria. Can you reduce your Chinese accent if you listen to English more than 2,000 hours? Kelsey, it doesn't matter how long you do anything. It matters how well you focus. Okay, so 1 hour of good practice is better than 2,000 hours of bad practice. Okay? That's right. Learning language is about expressing, not impressing. That's right. That's right. It's about expression and communication, not about perfection. Is shadowing a good way to improve speaking skill? Of course it is. Is there English mouth and Chinese mouth? Yes. When I speak Chinese, I use a small mouth. When I speak English, I use a big mouth. What about nosacomp? I don't know what that is. Hello, Ilya. Yes, when you speak English, you should open your mouth more. Okay? All right. Who would like to come talk to me? Anyone? Is anyone brave enough to come talk to me? No one? Everybody's too scared. Boo! I'm so scary. I'm so scary. No one wants to talk to me. I feel sad. Wow, everyone's so shy. Why are you scared of talking? Passerby wants to talk to me, so yes, I can put you on the stage, sure. Hello, passerby.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great, and you?
I'm pretty good. You're in Egypt, yeah?
No, I'm from Yemen.
From where? Yemen. Oh, wow.
But my flag is similar to Egyptian.
Oh, yeah, it's so small. It's so small, I couldn't see the... I thought there was the yellow in the middle, but there's not, right? It's just the red, white, black in the Yemen flag, right?
Yeah, exactly. But the Egyptian flag has the falcon. In the
Right.
middle.
Yeah. But on my computer, which I use to do my live streams, in the chat, all the flags are so tiny. They're so tiny. So I can't tell the difference between the Palestinian flag and the Jordanian flag or the what is it? No, Palestinian and the which is the other flag that looks the same? I forgot. Yes, right. So there's so many flags from that region that kind of look the same, and if they're big, I absolutely know them. But when they're so small, I can't tell the difference. So anyway, you're from Yemen. Welcome.
It's normal. Even me, I always get confused with people flags because
Yeah.
it's so tiny.
Yeah, me too.
We
So,
all face that problem.
passerby, do you have any questions for me or something I can help you with?
No, not really, but because you were just saying to the audience why you are scared of me and this and that, I was like, no, I'm not. Let me be
Good.
in.
Good for you. Yeah. I really can't understand it. I really can't. Come on, people. You're adults. Shyness should not be this big of a problem for most people. It really shouldn't. Don't you agree? You know, I feel like shyness is something that most of us, we grow out of, but I feel like there are some people that never grow out of it, and that's a problem. You have to grow out of your shyness.
No, I think it's normal for us because, like, when foreign people try to learn a language and they start to talk to native speakers, it just like might be difficult for us.
Okay, yes, sure,
Have
but
that confidence, you know.
but I'm not really talking about fear because you're foreign. Guess what, passerby? 40% of native English speakers are afraid to speak in public.
To
Why?
whom?
They're
Like
natives.
to
Why are they afraid?
really?
Yeah,
I
40%.
never have heard that.
Yeah, 40%. Actually, it's true in every language. So 40% of Yemenis, 40% of Yemenis also afraid to speak in public in Arabic. 40% of Egyptians afraid to speak in public in Arabic. 40% of Chinese afraid to speak in public. It's probably higher in China because there's a lot more shyness in China. But
Kindness in China.
yeah. So the point is that there are lots of people who are shy and afraid to speak, but
Speak their own language or
in their
foreign
own
language,
language,
you mean?
in their own language, in their own language. So that means that your your problem is not your grammar. Your problem is not your vocabulary. Your problem is not your pronunciation. Your problem is your fear.
Or maybe it's part of their personality. I used to be like that when I was like, I'm not.
Passerby, yeah, some people like to say that, that shyness is part of our culture. It's just part of my personality. But no, I'm sorry. I don't agree. I don't. I'm sorry. It's just, you can't use that argument unless you can tell me how shyness is beneficial to you. Tell me one way that shyness benefits you. Anyone? Can anyone tell me how is shyness ever a good thing for you? It's not, right? Passerby, are you there? Can you hear me? Hello. Am I frozen? Can you guys hear me, or am I frozen? I'm not sure. I'm not frozen. Okay, so maybe it's just passerby. Passerby, are you there? We lost her. Maybe she lost the time limit. Maybe the time limit. So, anyway, the point is that, look, shyness doesn't offer you anything positive. Shyness is not humility. No, humility is good. Humility and being humble, those are good things. Yes, but that has nothing to do with being shy. Shyness is a combination of two things. Shyness is low self-esteem and fear. If you have low self-esteem and you have fear, you will be shy. But how can you... So what did I just say? If you have low self-esteem and fear, then you will be shy. So how can you fix it? You need better self-esteem. How can you get better self-esteem? How? How can you get better self-esteem? Self-esteem. It means, do you feel good about who you are? Do you feel that you are a good person that is trying your best? Do you feel self-esteem is your feeling that you can do things? So if you have good self-esteem, then you feel like, yeah, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. If you have low self-esteem, then you say, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that. So, how can you improve your self-esteem? How can you improve your self-esteem? You must do things. You must accomplish something. Okay? So here's what happens. If you go do something, you accomplish something, right? You have a project and you go accomplish it. You will get pride. Pride will give you energy, and now you have energy to go do something again. So, if you go do something, you get pride. If you get pride, you get energy, and now you can do something again. Do something, get pride. Get pride, get energy. Do something, get pride. Get pride, get energy. Do something, get pride. Get pride, get energy. And the more you do that, the more self-esteem you will build. And the more you do that, the less fear you will have. Okay? So, go do something, and then you'll feel good. And then you'll want to go do something else, and feel good again. And do something else, and feel good again. Okay? That's how it works. So if you feel shy and you feel fear, it's because you don't have enough power inside you that tells you, I can do this. I can. You are being controlled by your fear. That's why I tell you that you have to be a language warrior. A warrior is a fighter. If you want to learn a language, it's a fight. What are you fighting? Your fear. You can't speak a language well if you're afraid. You can't speak a language well if you are afraid. So the first thing that you must do is attack your fear. Conquer your fear. Eliminate your fear. Okay? Duman says, I just try to be better than yesterday. That's just like me. That's right. Yeah. That's right, Duman. That's what I try to do too. Be better than the person you were yesterday. Am I nervous? No. You're welcome, Sophia. Thank you, Kiki. Phyllis is asking me a question that I answer many, many times. Can I please explain the difference in the pronunciation of can and can't? Phyllis, can, can't, 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 can't. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Sometimes people don't say the T very clearly. If they don't say the T very clearly, then you should say to them, I'm sorry, did you say can or can't? 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 That's what I do if I can't understand what you said, so that's what you should do. Okay? Christian says self-esteem also depends on the encouragement of other people. That's true, Christian. It's really hard to feel good about yourself if everybody around you is telling you you're bad. That's true. But you do need to always remember that you won't always have a good support system. So you need to be your own support system. Okay, Christian? You're right. It's great if you can surround yourself with people who are positive and encouraging. That's great. But that is not the way life always is. So sometimes you have to learn how to be your own fire. You have to be your own encouragement and passion and the flame of passion. You have to have that even if nobody else is telling you you are good. Okay? That's right. At least take the initiative to do the thing that you're afraid of. Give it a try. Pedro says, when you're studying English, you shouldn't worry about the commentaries of anyone else because you're trying to be better. That's right, Pedro. Do you care about your learning more than you care about what other people think? When I'm learning, I really don't care what you think about me at all. I only care about learning. All right? So your love for learning must be stronger than your love for the way people look at you. Okay? Rada says, self-esteem comes from your mind. If you convince yourself that you can, then you can. That's true. Easier said than done. That's true. It's easier said than done, but until you try, it will never happen. So go try. Let's see. He Tang says, I think I don't have an environment. I don't have a good environment for studying language, so I can't study well. Well, 我就在美国，可是我可以学中文。为什么？ My mind doesn't care where I live. So it does not really matter where you live. It does matter what you are thinking where you live. So I live in America, but I think in Chinese. Because I can. All right. What's the difference between apparently and obviously? If something is apparent, then it becomes clear, but it's not obvious, right? It's apparent. It's apparently and obviously, in my opinion, are very close to the same meaning, but obviously is just obvious. Something that's obvious is something that anyone can see. It's clear, so clear. But apparent is kind of more like you can't really see it, you can't really see it, you can't really see it, and then it's clear enough. It's clear enough for you to see and understand. All right. So apparently is like when it just reaches the level that you can understand, that's apparent. But obvious is like, oh, well, that's just obvious. That's clear. All right. Hello, Davis. How are you, my friend? Good to see you again. Ive says, can I be an English teacher only online? I mean, without a necessary school for teaching in. Yes, you can. It might not be easy, but you can. Okay? You are welcome, Samia. Yo, fan. Turn your phone. Okay, Kiki, I will try to upload this one today, okay? To YouTube. That's right. Norman says you don't have to surround yourself with perfectionism to do something. That's right. I agree with that, Norman. Perfect doesn't even exist in my mind. I'm drinking iced coffee, although it's not iced anymore. All my ice has melted. Josiah says, sometimes it can be quite annoying when you face criticism from others, regardless of the form. Of course, Josiah, that's definitely true. Of course it is. But that's why inner strength is always more important than outer strength. Because inner strength is the thing that really, really helps you. It's the thing that allows you to walk away from people who are annoying or criticizing. You have a friend who wants to follow me from his phone. How can you send him my account? You can send him this link. And he can find my Hello Talk and my YouTube and everything else. Okay? There are a lot of English ads in Japan that say you can speak English like a native speaker. Yeah, of course, Hero. That's just marketing, you know? That's just marketing. Zoma is asking me another question I answer a lot. What is the difference between another and other? Zoma, another means one more of something. So if I say, I would like another glass of water, that means I already finished one glass of water. Now I want one more. Okay, so another means one more. Okay, other means different. Other means different. So if I say, can you give me that phone, please? And then somebody hands me something and I say, oh no, not that phone. I want the other phone. The other phone. Other means different. Another means one more. Okay?我喜欢你的教学方式. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. 对. 对啊. I am from Ohio. You can't recognize my accent because we don't have one. That is our accent. The accent of where I live is a lack of accent. Ive says, I'm a bit worried because when I start teaching, I'll make mistakes. That's okay. That's how you will become a better teacher. Okay? You can't become better unless you make mistakes. Can I help you with could, would, and should? I can help you find the right web page to explain it for you. Nope, not that one. Let's try another one. Yeah, here's a good one. Go to this website, and it will explain how to use could, would, and should. How can you use anybody and somebody? So, anybody and somebody are very similar. Okay, Pedro? So anybody means any person. It doesn't matter who. We do not care. Okay? Anybody is anyone. Okay? It doesn't matter. Somebody means any person, but we might have an idea who, or maybe we don't want to identify them, right? So if I say, did somebody take my apple? I'm asking, did anybody take my apple? But maybe I have an idea who it was. Okay? So, anybody could be anyone. Somebody is possibly someone you have an idea about. Okay? Try going to this website. Let me find a good one for you. No, that's one for teachers. Yeah, here's a good one. I want too much. Who wants too much? Norman, you're afraid of what? Is there any sea in Ohio? No, Devis. I live very far away from the ocean. Very far away. Okay? Pedro, nobody is different. Nobody means no one, no person. Okay, nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to do that. It's the same as no one. Not anyone. Okay? No person. Alward says, I used to be afraid when I spoke English before, but when I watch your live stream now, I don't care if I make mistakes. Good. Good, Alward. Good for you. If I was or if I were. That depends on what you're going to talk about, you. I was, he was, she was, it was, they were, we were, right? So, it depends on your situation in that case, you. So when you're trying to know the difference, when should you use if I was or if I were? If it's an imaginary situation, you'll say were. All right? But if it really happened, use was. Okay? So, if I was is for a situation that really happened. If I were is for an imaginary situation. Okay? That's the best way to put it. Okay? Have I ever been to Graceland? No, I haven't, Aicha. I've been by there. I haven't been to the actual house, but I've been near it. I've been in the vicinity of it in Tennessee. Thank you very much, Hero. Your kids are always roasting you about your English, so you have to be strong like a warrior. Good, though, Hero. And you know what? It's good if your kids are teasing you about your English. That's kind of that's a different kind of motivation, right? You know, they're not trying to be mean. They're teasing you, you know? But it's good. It's kind of another kind of a way to motivate you, right? I've read The Magic of Thinking Big and The Mountain is You. Ooh, I don't know those books, but they sound good. What is the reason of procrastination? The reason for procrastination. The reason for procrastination is because the strongest desire of human beings is laziness. We procrastinate because the strongest desire in human beings is not for power, it's not for sex, it's not for money. The strongest desire in human beings is to be lazy. We want to try to do nothing. So, we procrastinate because we want to be lazy. It's important to know that, because if you know that the strongest desire that humans have is to be lazy, then you can fight it. Okay? That's not from me, by the way. That's not from me. Who said that? Let me find that. There's a quote. There's a great quote that I saved from someone. I need a minute to find it. Let's see. Where was that about laziness? Let me see if maybe I can search it. Yeah, here it is. It's a quote from Marie-Louise von Franz. And she said, Carl Jung, once said that the strongest passion in humans is not hunger, sex, or power. Although these are quite strong, the very strongest passion in human beings is laziness. The longer I study human beings, including myself, the more I am inclined to agree. Laziness is the strongest human passion. That's why we procrastinate. What's the difference between other, others, and the other? Other, 就是一个东西，就是别的东西。Others 就是很多的东西，就是别的很多的。All right? It's different, but it's more than one thing. The others, those are the others that didn't join the group. They are the others. They're more than one, and they're different, okay? The other means the different, okay? So, other 就是别的。Others 就是别的跟 很多的. The other 就是这个别的. Okay? How and when are though and although used? Though and although can be used kind of interchangeably. So you could say, though I like to play baseball, I prefer soccer more. Although I like to play baseball, I prefer soccer more. Same thing. They're interchangeable in most cases when you're using it that way. If you're using the word though and although as a replacement for but, they're the same. What did I think of the movie Oppenheimer? I saw it just the other day. I just went to it on Monday. The story is a very important story that we should all know and learn. But the movie, it was a 3-hour movie, but it felt really, really rushed. Like, it felt like this is a 6-hour movie that they're trying to make a 3-hour movie. That's what I felt like when I saw Oppenheimer. I felt like it shouldn't be a movie. It should be a series, like one season of a series to explain what happened. A movie was not the right format for that story. That story is too complicated and too long. You can't tell it well in 3 hours, and that's what I felt like. So, it's a very important story. It's a very good story that you should learn, so you should go see that movie. Or you should see it when it comes on Netflix or whatever. But I don't think it was done very well. No, because the story is far too complicated to tell in 3 hours. Can't be done. That's right, gluttony and the 7 deadly sins. That's right. That's right, if I were rich, I could buy a plane. If I was there, I could talk to you. So one is like real and one is not real, right? That's right, sloth. Sloth is the... Gluttony means eating too much. Sloth means being lazy. Yeah. Can I speak slowly? I can. Kasem and Chimay. I speak pretty slowly most of the time on my live streams. But maybe you won't understand me sometimes. That's okay. All right? I can't procrastinate about eating donuts. Hero, I don't think you would say I can't. You would say I don't. You would just say I don't procrastinate when it comes to eating donuts. You never are, waiting to eat a donut. That's what you're trying to say, okay? Can you express in Chinese? Because that's easier for you, and my Chinese is very good. If you have a question that you can't ask me in English, you can try to ask me in Chinese, but I will probably try to explain it to you in English. And yes, Norman, I think I do already kind of speak pretty slowly. I try. I do. I really do try. How can you master the pronunciation of words? Lolo. How can I master the pronunciation of Arabic? There are many ways. Lolo, you should go to my YouTube page, and on my YouTube page, I have many videos that are good for learning English, but there are a couple of videos there just about pronunciation. Okay? So if you go to this website, go to this YouTube page, go to this YouTube video and watch it. That's my Essential English Tips video. Watch that video and you'll get most of my best English tips. Okay? I just gave the link. It's right here. There's the link. Go to that link. That's my YouTube channel. Should you learn an American accent or a British accent? It doesn't matter. That's whatever you want to do. I don't care. You can do British if you want to do British. You can do American if you want to do American. Thank you, Hero. I appreciate you saying that. Most people don't seem to really appreciate that concept that I am not being paid. So thank you. I appreciate that, Hero. Oh, by the way, if you want to take lessons with me, you can now on HelloTalk. Okay, so if you go to my profile, you can sign up for lessons. But guess what? Those lessons are not free. So I am here right now for free. But if you take a private lesson with me, it's not for free. Khaled says the link doesn't work. Khaled, the link does work, but you have to copy it and paste it into your browser. You can't just click on it. Okay? If you just click on a link here, that doesn't work. Copy it, paste it, it will work. Okay? Why are American students allowed to take phones to school? Because this is America. We start with letting you do what you want to do. We start with the idea that you are mature enough to handle it. If you show that you can't, then we'll do something about it. But we're not going to treat you like a baby. We're going to try to treat you like an adult. Okay? So, my nephews and my niece, they all have phones. And guess what? My nephews and my niece, they use their phone far less than anyone else in my family. They use it less than my mom, less than my dad, less than me, less than my brother. So, you have to start with that. We start with saying, okay, you can have your phone. If it becomes a problem, then that's a problem. Then we'll talk to you. Okay? What are the differences between American English and British English? Misa, there are many, 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 many differences between American English and British English. They spell things differently than we do. They pronounce things differently than we do. They have many different words for things than we do. I can't explain all of them to you here, but if you ask that question on Google, there are probably 100 websites that will tell you the difference between American English and British English. Okay, so there are many websites that do that. Okay? Okay, I'm going to try one more time, everybody. Here is my link for my best YouTube video. copy it and paste it. It should work fine if you have internet. If you can use YouTube, then you should be able to use that link. If you copy it. Okay? Thank you so much, Hero. Pedro says in Brazil, they're allowed to use their phones in school too. Oh, that's interesting. Belen says students in Spain have to leave their phones in a box in the class. You know what? The truth is, Belen, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are now in schools. Here's what I'll tell you. In America, we have 50 states. And guess what? All 50 states have different rules. So, in my state, the rules about cell phones might be, yeah, you can use them. But in another state, they might say, no, you can't. All right? America is a complicated place where the rules are different depending on where you live. Every state chooses their own rules. Okay? If someone plays their phone in class, does that matter? Of course it matters. If you see someone using your phone in class, then yes, they're going to get yelled at. Okay? But we just don't treat our children like babies. We expect them to be adults. So if I see a student using their phone in class, I'll say, hey, dude, put it away or I take it away. That's what it is, right? So, if they're using their phone for something good, like searching for some information, I have no problem with that. If they're playing a game, that's different. Okay? Does watching movies help in learning English? Of course it can, but you have to watch the right movies. Movies are not made for education. That means some movies are really good for entertainment, but not learning. Some movies are better for learning. So choose movies that are better for learning, and yes, that will help you, okay? How can you learn 2 languages at the same time? Khaled, you can learn 3 languages at the same time. You can learn 10 languages at the same time. You can, but it will be hard. Okay? So, can you learn 2 languages at the same time? Yes, you can, but it's not easy, and you will be confused sometimes. That's a fact. Okay? But why do you need to learn more than 1 language at the same time? Why not focus on one? You want to know how to start learning to make a conversation? Well, those are 2 different things. To make a conversation, you say hi. That's how you start a conversation. Hi, my name's blah, blah, blah. Nice to meet you. How can you start learning? Start from the beginning, just like anywhere else. Okay? Maisa says, I can understand English and I can read, but I cannot speak fluently. What's the problem? The problem is that you don't know how to think in English. So, you are thinking in Arabic and then translating into English. That's not fluent. Fluent is when you can think in English and speak in English. Okay? So you're not fluent because you're not thinking in English. Okay? Can I suggest some movies for you to start with? Not movies assist you, but I'll suggest the TV show Friends. The TV show Friends. It's a very popular TV show. It's a very famous TV show. And it's probably the number one most common show for learning English. Okay? It's the most common show for learning English. They talk about family and friends and work, so it's good. Okay? Yeah, Friends is the name of the TV show. Friends is the name of the TV show, okay? Do we have schools closed for holidays? Yes, we have a summer holiday that's 2 or 3 months. Our students have the summer off. So, in China, most students, they have a summer break, but they probably go to cram school during their summer break. We don't do that. No. Summer vacation is summer vacation here. So our students have about 2.5 or 3 months off between June and September. June, July, and August, no school. Is it possible to learn English in a month or two? It's possible. It's also possible I could win the lottery. Armageddon says the first time I practiced my conversation, it was in, I think that's a game, right? Yeah. Video games are not really a great place to practice English because no one is using good English. Every video game that I've ever seen, everybody is using terrible, terrible, terrible English. So, don't learn English from watching or playing video games with your friends. They're not using good English. Okay? All right. Wow, man. Too many questions, y'all. Too many questions. Slow down just a minute. Let me try to answer these. Okay, Yoy wants to know, how can you think in English? Yoy, I want you to start by thinking in English about simple things like, what do you want and what do you need? So when you wake up in the morning, I want you to think, I need to get dressed. I need to brush my teeth. I need to make breakfast. I want to buy some coffee at the store. I want to go to lunch with my friend. What are your needs and your wants? Start thinking about them in English. Okay? Then, stage 2. Stage 2 is when you're walking around all day in your life, I want you to think about the questions who, what, when, where, why, and how. Any questions you can think of. If you are at the park, who is at the park? Who made this park? Who comes to this park regularly? What is a park? What is the name of this park? What does this park have? Where is this park? Can you give directions to this park? When was this park created? Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Everywhere you go, think about those questions in English. Okay, that's step 1 and step 2. Start with that. In China, we live in school and we're not allowed to go home. Yeah, I know. I used to live in Taiwan. I used to teach English in Taiwan for 4 years. Okay? So I know. At what age did I start using a smartphone, or when did I have a smartphone? Geez, I don't know, Eslam. Eslam, when I was in school, when I was a boy, we didn't even have computers. I'm old. Somebody asked me, how old am I? I'm 47. I'll be 48 in a couple of months. Do we have a winter holiday? Yes, Kathy, we have a winter vacation right around Christmas. We usually have about 2 weeks. About 2 weeks. Between Christmas and New Year. Right around that time, the last 2 weeks of December. The last 2 weeks of December are usually winter vacation. Some tips to learn English fast. Go watch that YouTube video. That's all my best tips. What do I do for a living? I do anything that I can do. Support the planning and organization of events, or support in the planning and organization of events. Ed Milson. Both of those could be okay. That's really semantically different. It doesn't really matter. Okay? If you're just trying to communicate with people, if you say either of those things, they mean the same thing. Okay? Reliable resources for language learning. Me. You can't find anyone to talk with in English to improve your English speaking, Sidi says. Sidi, you are in KSA, right? So, Xiaofeng, Kanwo, turn your phone. Turn your phone and you will see all of me. Turn your phone and you'll see all of me. Can't you see? So City is saying, I can't find anyone to talk with in English. Okay, City, so how can you practice your English speaking? Step 1, try to find a native speaker. So, are there any native speakers who live around you? If there are, go find them and meet them and talk to them. If there are not, use HelloTalk and try to meet some new people. But I'm going to tell you something. Listen to me. Come here. Listen. There are no people just waiting to practice English with you. There are no people waiting to just practice English with you. Okay? But who will practice English with you? Who? Friends. Friends will practice with you. Friends. So, if you make a friend first, then you can get a language partner. But if you say, "Hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. Will you practice English with me? Will you teach me English?" No, they will not help you. You are not going to get any help. But if you say, "Hi, my name is Xiaofeng, and I read your profile, and I see that you like cooking. I love cooking too. Can we exchange recipes?" Or, I read your profile and I see that you like fishing. I love fishing too. Where do you go fishing? I read your profile. I read your profile. I read your profile. And I see that you do this, and I also do this. Make a friend, and you will have a partner. Don't make a friend, and you won't have a partner. Okay? That's the secret of using HelloTalk. Samaya says, Teacher Mark, I did your advice, but it didn't work for me. Samaya, how many times? How many times did you do it? Samaya, finding a friend is like going fishing. When I go fishing, sometimes I don't catch anything. I might be there for 3 hours, and I throw it out, nothing. I throw it out, nothing. I throw it out, nothing. That's fishing. That's just fishing. Making friends is like fishing. You have to throw it out a lot. You have to throw it out a lot. You can't just throw it out 2 or 3 times. You have to throw it out 200 or 300 times. Okay? You have to throw it out 200 times, 300 times. If you ask 200 or 300 people, you'll get a catch. You'll get a bite. You'll get a fish. You'll get a friend. Okay? But yeah, you have to ask like 200 or 300 people. Okay? I know. It's hard. That's why friendship is valuable. Friends are valuable because they're not easy to make. Friends are valuable because they are not easy to make. So make a friend and then you have value and that person will help you. Okay? I promise. All right. Let's see. Assist says, do I have a schedule for my live? I do and I don't. Assist, okay? I have a schedule and I try to keep to it as much as I can, but assist. So I'm here 5 days a week, okay? I'm here 5 days, 5 days. Not every day, 5 days. I'm not here on Monday and I'm not here on Friday, okay? I'm not here on Monday, not here on Friday, but I'm here every other day. Usually. Why do I say usually? I say usually because no one is paying me right now. I'm not making any money. So, if I decide that I want to take a break tomorrow and not do a live stream, then I will. Because I can. I'm the boss. I do what I want, and yes, I'm here a lot, but I'm afraid to tell you that this is my schedule now, because sometimes I want to take a break. Okay? So follow me here, and you'll see me a lot, I promise. Usually I'm here 5 days a week. Okay? Norman wants to know about my course, Chat with Teacher Mark. How many chats a week or just one chat? So I have that set up right now. I think the one I have right now is just one, Norman. But actually, I think I'm going to set up another one later today where you can purchase, like, if you want to buy 4 or 8, 15-minute spots, you can. Okay? So I just set up one course that's only one 15-minute spot. But I'm going to set up another course where you can purchase maybe 8. Okay? 8 15-minute spots, and you can schedule them Okay? Do I like cooking? Yes, I like cooking. Khaled. Emilio says, why is it sometimes difficult to understand natives? Well, Emilio, it's because not everyone speaks well. You understand me because I am trying to be understood. But most people don't try. Most people are just talking, and they expect you to understand, even if they're not speaking well. So, Emilio, you need to listen to good speakers. Don't listen to everyone. Listen to good speakers, okay? Thank you very much, Kiki. Thank you for the gifts, everyone, too, by the way. I can call you Koki, okay? Thank you. Eslam says, I made friendships with native speakers, but my problem is they don't correct me. Eslam, some people are like that. Some people, they don't want to correct you too much because they're afraid that you'll feel bad. Okay? So, Eslam, you need to ask them to correct you. Okay? You should say, hey, I really love our friendship and I really love when we can chat. But please, 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 anytime you can correct me, please do. Anytime. If you don't do it all the time, that's okay. I understand you don't want to correct me all the time. But if you can correct me sometimes, I will really appreciate it. Okay? You need to tell your friends that. Okay? What is my favorite food? I don't have a favorite food. I just like food. Why do I learn Chinese? Why not? Hello, Tomas. How are you, my friend? Good to see you again. I'm still here. Yes. Shirley says, but we meet different speakers. That's right, Shirley. And sometimes when you meet some people, you won't understand them. Just like Shirley, if I'm in China, I can understand most people when they speak Chinese, but I can't understand everyone. Why? Because not everyone speaks well. Okay? That's true for every language. So, Shirley, you need to be like a musician. If you are if you want to learn to play the piano, you don't listen to everyone who plays the piano. No, you listen to the professionals. You listen to the best ones, the most talented ones. So if you want to learn a language, do the same thing. Don't listen to everyone. Listen to the best ones. Okay? And model yourself after them. Do I like dumplings? No. I love dumplings. All right? Yes, when you're trying to learn a musical instrument, you don't listen to everybody. You listen to the people who play well. So do that. Okay? Wow, Shubham. Wow, you're too nice. You're too nice, man. Aslam says, if I said someone correct me, he or she would understand that I'm... Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying, Aslam, is that if you have a friend who's a native speaker, you need to ask them to please correct you sometimes. Just try to relax, though, Eslam. Remember, they want to be your friend. They want to be your friend, Eslam. They are not trying to be your free teacher. They are trying to be your friend. So, you can ask them to correct you sometimes, but you should not expect them to correct you all the time. They are not teachers. They're friends. Okay? They are not teachers. They are friends. What is my hobby? I have many hobbies. I like cooking. I like hiking and fishing, camping. Tomas is cooking an easy summer pasta with aromatic herbs chopped up and soft basil and fried garlic. That sounds good. That sounds good. Is it Koki? Koki said, I'm a teacher. I teach kids, but just phonics. Is there any advice you can give to me? Sure. Yeah. If you're teaching phonics, the most important part of English is the vowels. Vowels. A-E-I-O-U and A-E-I-O-U. A-E-I-O-U, A-E-I-O-U. Okay? And you can practice all of those sounds with a consonant. So, B, 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 B. Ba, ba, bi, ba, ba. C, 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 K, K, K. Ka, ka, ki, ka, ka. D, 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 da, da, da. Da, da, did, da, da. You can do that for every combination of sounds. Okay? Your aunt is missing me. I do remember your aunt. She was cooking, right? You are welcome, Koki. Okay, let's see. Before I forget, make sure you go to this Hello Talk link. Copy this link and paste it, and you can go to my YouTube and my Facebook and my TikTok and follow me, okay? If you want to support me, you can also go to my Buy Me a Coffee page and buy me a coffee. If you like what I'm doing and you think I'm good, then please support me. No one is paying me. I live off your generosity. Let me make that clear one more time. I live off of your generosity. Okay, so if you want to buy me a coffee, you can, and that does support me. All right? All right, so please make sure you go and follow me. Go to my YouTube and watch my YouTube videos. I have many YouTube videos on there, and they're all good. They all have lots of tips, okay? Lots and lots of tips there. So please go watch them, okay? Teacher Mark's Essential English Tips. Go watch it and leave a comment. Leave a comment. Say, hi, Teacher Mark. All right? All right, so I think that's going to be it for today, everybody. If you want to take lessons with me, you can now. Go to my Hello Talk profile, and you will see you can sign up for a course now, and you can take lessons with me on Hello Talk. All right? So, go follow me. Go check out my lessons profile page. And yeah, that's going to be it for me today, guys. I need to go have some lunch. It's time for me to take a break. Okay? So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for following. Thank you guys for participating. Make sure you follow. I have about 51,000 followers. 51,000. And that's great, but I need 151,000. Grr, annoying. Come on. I'm back. Sorry. Okay, so once again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for following. Thank you guys for participating. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening wherever you are in the world. And don't forget to be a language warrior. You're not allowed to be shy anymore. No. You're not allowed to be shy anymore. I'm sorry. I don't allow it. Okay? Bye-bye, everyone. I will see you guys tomorrow. Come back and see me tomorrow, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.